Hi folks, a very warm welcome to the Celtic Forever podcast. Sander here to go through everything Celtic, that's including the Livingston game last night, what a result that was. We'll go through the latest news as well. We'll go into Rival Watch as well, John. We've not done that for a while. We'll touch on Rival Watch and everything else in between. So how are you, John, after last night?
It was a good game, wasn't it? Well, I say a good game, it was a good result. It was... I thought it was a decent performance for Celtic as well. I says to you in the last podcast, Marvin Bartley, every player inside the 6-yard box, well, the 18-yard box, but you know what I mean. I'm just exaggerating for effect. But yeah, every man inside the box, and that's the way he sets his teams up. So when you look at it in that light, it was a really good result for Celtic. That I thought thoroughly deserved the win. It should have been 10-0 if they'd have took all their chances. Yeah,
that's the concern just now, isn't it? Is the finishing just now. We'll get into that, John. We'll get into all of that. And you did mention in the last podcast as well, because I listened to it back, John. There's a few things you said was going to happen this midweek. So we'll touch on that, John, the things that you said a few days ago. Right. Anyway, housekeeping, let's get that out of the road first. First of all, I want to say hello to Kevin McKenna, who's joined the league table. John, well done to Kevin McKenna joining our league table, correct score league table on the left hand side. If you want to join that league table, leave your name in the comments. Just leave a comment saying you want to join it, and we'll add you to the league table. So welcome Kevin to the league table, who got his first guess wrong as well. We all got it wrong. Nobody got that 2-1 score correct. There was a few 2-0s, so unlucky to everybody getting that wrong, and we'll do a correct score for the weekend game against Kilmarnock at Rugby Park. So welcome Kevin McKenna. Hit that like button as well, folks, if you don't mind, because the likes are going up when we mentioned it at the start of the podcast. People are hitting likes, so we're going to continue to do that. Hit that like button. That would be absolutely fantastic. We're not even going to ask you to subscribe, just hit that like button. That would be super duper. And if you want to subscribe, that's up to you. Right, John, the predictor, as I say, nobody got it right. Nobody got the 2-1 win for Celtic right, but we don't care, do we? Because it was a fantastic win in the way that we won it as well, John. We're going to get into that right now. But wee snippets of news, not much happening just now, John. But I didn't realise that was Martin O'Neill's 200th league game in charge on Wednesday night. That's his 200th league game for Celtic, John. And it was a great 200th game, John, because it was an absolutely stunning win for Celtic, considering everything else that happened elsewhere.
And well, it's becoming the habit, isn't it, for Celtic, winning these games late on, winning 2-1, scraping through results. But that's all down to the other teams defending. But look, it's a fantastic result for Celtic. Just considering the way the other result went at Fir Park. So, look, I'm not complaining. Definitely no complaining. I'm happy enough with that.
Yeah, congratulations, Martin, on your 200th league game for Celtic. Absolutely brilliant for Martin O'Neill, absolute legend. So yes, the Glasgow Derby date has been confirmed, John, for the 8th of March. We knew it was going to be the 8th anyway. It's always normally the Sunday, these games, isn't they, unless it's a league game. So the cup game confirmed for Sunday the 8th.
Right, that's good. That's out of the way. See what kind of ticket allocation we get for that.
Yeah, exactly, John. That's what we're waiting on next, isn't it? I'm sure the two clubs will be thrashing out some sort of deal between each other. But we are entitled to that 20%, John. So we'll wait and see what happens with that. Okay, let's move on then, John. Martin O'Neill wants Saracchi signed on a permanent deal, John. And this is one of the things I was talking about. You mentioned in the last podcast. Saracchi, he said he's an outstanding player. We need to get him signed. He said you'd like to see him starting over Kieran Tierney. All these things have now been mentioned and happened, John. But Saracchi, great performance from the wee man. Obviously, he's not played much football, so he came off early. But a great goal, John. And Martin O'Neill wants him signed on a permanent deal.
I've been saying that since the first time I seen him. Maybe I gave him maybe 2 or 3 games I seen Saracchi. I thought, this boy's quality. I would love him signed up in a permanent deals under that. That'd be the best thing I could take out the season. Is so far is that news that we could get him on a permanent deal, because no disrespect to Kieran Tierney, he's an amazing left back, absolutely brilliant, and it's good to have him at Celtic. But I just think Saracchi offers, for me anyway, personally, he offers that wee bit more in terms of pace and directness, But look, there's no much between them, between Kieran Tierney and Saracchi. I just think Saracchi, for me, edges it just that wee bit more. And when I see him on the park, I always get the feeling Celtic's going to win. I don't know why that is. It just gives me that confidence when I see him starting.
Yeah, and a great goal into it as well. But we'll get into that once we do the review of the game, John. But other news, John, around Celtic just now. Now, we mentioned this about 5 days ago in jest, actually. Roberto Martinez being the next Celtic manager. We did mention it 5 days ago as a joke, sort of, because there was obviously stories that Martinez was out with Maloney having a bit of lunch, and obviously the two know each other really well, being the former Belgium manager and assistant. But it's came out, John, that he could be the next Celtic manager. You know, obviously we've got a manager just now, Martin O'Neill, doing a fantastic job. We don't want to be talking about other managers, clearly, because, Martin O'Neill may even stay on for another season if we win the double. But Roberto Martinez, John, a really good manager, him, linked for Celtic next season.
He's a big name in the managers, isn't he? In the managerial kind of circles. He's well respected, successful manager. Would I welcome him at Celtic? Probably, aye. I don't know if there's any truth in. I know it's just rumours and all that stuff, but for me personally, aye, of course you're going to welcome somebody with that experience all day. I mean, it's not just the experience, it's, a manager like that, well respected, can also attract many, many brilliant players, Xander. You've got to bear that in mind as well. We could attract top qualities to Celtic.
Yeah, of course. As you say, John, it's rumour. It's just rumour. But I thought just thought I'd bring it up because we did mention it before the newspapers got their hands on it a few days ago, John. So it's an interesting one that, obviously, as I said a couple of minutes ago, we do have Martin O'Neill at the helm just now doing a fantastic job. And we don't really want to be talking about other managers at this point, but it's one to keep an eye on during the summer, I suppose, John, isn't it? Once everything is settled down and all the trophies have been handed out, hopefully another 2 for Celtic in the bag. That's what we're all hoping for. We'll move on, John. Arnie Ingles. No timeline yet for the Arnie Ingles injury, but, I think he's going to be added to this long line of injuries. This quad or thigh injury that he's picked up yesterday. He walked off the park, which is a good sign, I suppose. But I just hope he's not added to the long-term injuries we already have at Celtic.
Well, this is it, isn't it? I mean, I'm not a big fan of Arnie Ingles, you know that. For me, I don't want to see any Celtic players getting injured, though. I mean, it could come good at some point in the season. I've still not seen anything this season that tells me that he's a top player, Xander. I've still not seen it. But we can't afford any other players getting injured because the squad's depleted as it is with injuries. But look, it's always concerning, isn't it, when a player goes down on his own. It's always a big worry that when you see that type of injury. Normally that's associated with a long term. Yeah,
I know. It's concerning, John, because you look at the performance when Hatate came on Wednesday night. We weren't great, were we? So, Ingles, although he doesn't stand out a lot in the team, but we do seem to play a bit better when he's on the park. So that is a concern for me, John. It really is, and for you, obviously, and every other Celtic supporter. But we'll wait and see what happens over the next few days, John. His injury will be confirmed as in a timeline over the next couple of days, John. So keep an eye on that one. And of course, Nottingham Forest. I'm hearing rumours that they could be in for a £30 million offer for Arnie Ingles in the summer, John. If Forest come in with a £30 million bid for him, he's off skating.
Definitely. I mean, that's big money for somebody I don't rate at all. I'm surprised with the kind of fees. I'm really surprised with that. But look, if they come in with an offer of £30 million for Ingles, it's tat-tat to Arnie Ingles, and just hope the board consider splashing the cash if he does sell for that kind of money, because the team badly needs upgraded all over the park.
Of course it does, John. Still struggling just now, aren't we? We're waiting on this season kicking off, we really are. And although we're still in every competition apart from the League Cup because of Nancy, the that's still not happened, John. We're scraping through these games, so we're still waiting in this season to kick off, and it will happen. That will happen with, I don't know, is it 12 games to go? Not too sure, but no matter how many games it is to go, John, our season will kick off, and we're hoping it's sooner rather than later. You know, we can't be sitting third in the league forever, John. We need to start moving up to near the top placings, and we certainly don't want Rangers sitting above us, that's for sure. Anyway, John, we'll go through that in rival watch in about 5 minutes. A couple of wee things, John, moving on. A couple of wee things, not involving Celtic, but I just thought I would mention them very quickly because I always like to get your opinion on these things. Chris Boyd, still at Sky Sports, John, right? He's on the TV yesterday, almost crying on the TV. His eyes are red. He looks as though he's been crying because they drew with Motherwell. And it's good to see him upset like that, John. It really is, you know, coming out with excuses, blah, blah, blah. I heard it all before from Chris Boyd. Now, how is this walloper, Chris Boyd, still on Sky Sports? You know, when Sky Sports got rid of guys like, you know, other wallopers like Andy Walker, Craig Burley, Charlie Nicholas, John, all these guys are all gone from Sky Sports. They didn't hang about getting rid of them, John. But Chris Boyd is still there. I just can't quite put my finger on that.
I don't think anybody can fathom out the reason why he's still on Sky Sports. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, it's good to hear him moaning, I suppose. I mean, that's the only thing I can take at it. And he does a lot of that. So it's good to hear him moaning and hurting when his team drop points like they did last night. It's always good to hear it. And I think the fact that a loaned out Celtic player derailed Chris Boyd's dreams makes it all the sweeter.
Yeah, I can't wait till we get into that. Of course, and that's why he's almost crying live on the telly, John. So, yeah, it's about time Sky Sports pulled the plug on a very unprofessional, you know, pundit, whatever you want to call this guy. I don't know if you can call him a pundit, can you? Anyway, John, let's move it on. Sky Sports, get your finger out.
A silly auto point, but it does seem to matter.
Right, exactly, John. Okay. And one more thing in the news. In fact, no, we'll call it a day in the news there, John. Let's get on to this Livingston game, John, because this is what we're really here to talk about. Celtic versus Livingston Wednesday night there. Drab, dreary night. You know, the crowd wasn't great. It was pouring the rain the whole night, freezing cold. Like we did say in the preview of the game, John, it was going to be cold, wet and miserable. We did say that, so we warned everybody about that. And it was really, really, really miserable night, John, you know, especially for the supporters in the stands. Very poor night. And the game on the park itself was okay, as you say, John. The first half was really good. You know, the full game, 79% possession for Celtic. You know, totally dominant in the game. 91% pass completion rate as well. Absolutely outstanding. A goal from Saracchi in the 15th minute. Okay, brilliant. What a wee finish from the wee man. We just spoke about him. Then Livingston get a penalty in the 57th minute. Muirhead buries that. That's a Stonewall penalty for me. Muirhead's burying that. And Real Hitati, you know, committing the foul. Blindside player. You know, he's seen it sort of 1,000 times, John. Blindside player comes in and he kicks the player instead of the ball. Penalty to Livingston. He buries that. Fair enough. And, of course, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain getting the winning goal in the 92nd minute. Second minute of injury time, John, absolutely brilliant. And what a finish as well from Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, John. He came on with 10 minutes to go in the game. A great substitution by the manager, we've got to admit as well, John. A great bit of management there from Martin O'Neill to bring him on. And what a finish, John. You know, all the players in the box, there must have been about 15 players in the box at the time. And he curls it round every single one of them, John, into the right-hand corner. Keeper, no chance. What a player. Hopefully, we've got in our hands here.
Aye, it was a beautiful finish. I mean, he's run away to celebrate when it's halfway to the net. It's not even hit the net yet, and he's turned to celebrate.
Yeah.
I mean, it shows you the confidence in that boy. He must be flying in confidence for some reason. I don't know, because he's not played any games. But, aye, like I says, by the time the boys go to the 6-yard line, he's off towards Martin O'Neill. Outstanding finish. Kind of reminds you, I says it last week, the Lubo Moravcik deal when he came in at 33 years old. I know he didn't score in his debut, but he scored a double against Rangers in the next game. Baptism of fire, wasn't it, for Chamberlain, an absolutely outstanding finish. I mean, how much space has he got surrounding him? You can see that wee bit of space, can't you? You can just see that wee bit of space that he's got.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 feet either side of him, surrounded by players. And before any of them get a chance to run towards him, he's curled it right in at the top corner for about 20 yards out. It's outstanding. What a way to start your career at Celtic. He wins man of the match. He scores a wonder goal. He wins us the game. What more can you ask for? It's outstanding, and thank you to him for that, because without that, him on the park there, we were never scoring, I don't think.
No, it's minutes to go, John. Just minutes to go of injury time. And what I loved about it, apart from it being a top quality finish with all those players in front of him, was the reaction to the Livingston players, John. I don't know if you saw that. There's a camera angle that you see every player on the park when the goal goes in, and every single Livingston player drops to their knees. It's absolutely beautiful. It's beautiful, John.
Oh, trust me, I've seen it. I've watched it over and over again just to see the goalkeeper's reaction. I must have watched it about 5 times. The kid's on, he's going to kick the post, kicks mid-air and all that, and then he's jumping up and down on his little wee Wayne, jumping up and down. To be fair to that goalkeeper, I thought he had an outstanding game, by the way. But see, watching his reaction to Chamberlain's goal, it's the funniest thing I've ever seen in football.
Yeah. I know, John. It was just the way the whole night panned out, actually. It looked, at one point, near the end of the game, I looked at it was going to be an absolute miserable night for us. It really did, John. And all these shots on goal, I think it was something like, was it 28 shots on goal, John, for Celtic? Absolutely. We need to get this sorted, don't we? We need to get the finishing sorted. We've got 3 strikers there. Adamu, the big boy, Chwanchara as well, John. Both of them, I don't think had a shot in the game. It was all shots from wingers and midfielders that was coming in. So, and also Tenecti on the right, John. I was quite impressed with him on the right hand side, getting the crosses into the box. All decent crosses. There's our big tall striker to get on the end of these. That's why we signed this boy. He wasn't there against Livingston, John. But all these shots on goal was absolutely tremendous, John. 79% possession as well. Everybody was scratching their heads in the second half, John, in the 60th minute when the scoreline read Celtic 1, Livingston 1.
Aye. But look, again, it was one of the games I kept watching to the end. I just had a feeling something would happen again. It's just a wee feeling I get right now watching Celtic that something good's going to happen. But Tenecti, I thought he was outstanding on the night. By the way, the Livingston goalkeeper going down with cramp. I've never seen a goalkeeper going down with cramp in my life. What's that all about?
Yeah, that's what makes it all the sweeter, John, getting that last minute goal. All the time wasting from the Livingston players. Normally you would say, well played to Livingston, try to get their point at Celtic Park. Would have been a great point for them. And it would have been if they were held on, if we didn't have the new magician, the Ox, in the team, John. It would have been a great point for them. But I don't feel sorry for them at all in this game, John, for the time wasting, the cheating, the diving, everything else, all these things that the referee is falling for, John. Why the referee's falling for this? How many times after Celtic went ahead at 2-1, bearing in mind there was only 4 minutes to go, 3 minutes to go, how many times did the referee give a free kick to Livingston to pump that ball into the box? At least 4 times.
It was constant free kicks for Livingston. I mean, I think they've been taking a leaf out of the Hearts book, haven't they? The Hearts rule book, just for when somebody stands beside you, just for you'll get a free kick, and that was going on all night with Livingston players. It's frustrating, but that's the way these teams operate. They'll try and waste time. They'll dive. They'll cheat. They'll do whatever it takes to get something, and they defended for their lives. When they got their goal, they defended for their lives when they were 1-0 down. They were wasting time, but they got that goal and they went into overdrive in defence, didn't they? Every man behind the ball. And to be fair to them, I thought they defended well. Livingston, so you've got to look at that as well. If you're a defensive type team like that, they did it really well. Frustrated Celtic all night, but at the end, just that wee magical bit of quality separated the two teams. Look, Livingston, they never deserved anything, Xander, let's be honest. They deserved nothing from that game. they're poor. They're totally poor. And basically they deserve what they got. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, of course. And again, we've mentioned it before a few times, John, but I'll mention it again. How can we give away so many free kicks when we've just had 80% possession of the ball? It's almost an impossible stat, John. As you say, players have got the ball, and as soon as a Celtic player goes anywhere near them, they're falling to the floor, John. They're falling to the ground and getting free kicks. Why is the referees not wising up to this trick, this wee, bit of cheating, if you like, John? A player goes near you, the opposite player falls down, he gives a free kick. Why are the referees not strong enough to deal with this?
I really don't know. They probably are strong enough to deal with it. They just don't want to deal with it. I mean, it's easier just to say free kick, and then Livingston get a chance to pump the ball right up into the Celtic box, because that's what they were doing all night. They were getting free kicks all night and just pumped into the Celtic box. That's as good a quality as you've seen from Livingston the whole night. They're a really, really poor team, but defended really well. By the way, Hatate's penalty, I know you say stonewall, and in the laws of the book, you could say it's a stonewall penalty. But I think with the inclusion of VAR now, I think that's going to be looked at. If a player, Hatate's not even looking at the boy. You know what I mean? His feet's no up extraordinarily high or anything like that. He's just trying to clear the ball and the player runs through him. That's what it looks like to me. I mean, I know by the letter of the law, everybody that's listening, it can be deemed a stonewall penalty, but I think that rule's going to be looked at. It's going to be looked at. If you're not looking at a player and all you want to do is get rid of the ball, fair enough if Hatate's had a look behind him and seen the player, but he's not done that. He's just seen the ball coming towards him and tried to hook it up the park, and unfortunately for him, the players ran right into him, and the letter of the law, it's a penalty kick. But that should be changed, especially with the inclusion of VARs under. There's no intention there, is there, at all?
No intention, as you're right, John. But, as you say, letter of the law, that's the way that these referees are looking at things now, especially when it comes to Celtic at Celtic Park. There's no common sense in this refereeing, to be honest with you, especially with these free kicks, John, as I say. You can't just fall to the ground and be given a free kick. Minimal contact, if any, at all. And 80% of these free kicks, John, I know there's one or two that are free kicks, don't get me wrong, we understand that. But 80% of these ones are just men falling to the floor, John. It's pathetic, it really is.
They are. I mean, you've got to look at a lot of these situations as well. Even in ones where there was contact, it was 50-50, because Livingston players have got a hold of Celtic players at the same time as, vice versa. They've got a hold of each other, and any benefit of the doubt last night was going to Livingston.
Yeah, of course, John. And the contact side of the sport is now gone. It's totally gone. So there's no any point in saying, that it's a contact sport, because football is now a non-contact sport, and that's the bottom line. Unfortunately, John, because when it was a contact sport, it was brilliant. Some meaty tackles, it was just great to watch. That is gone from the game now, John. I don't know how many free kicks we had against us last night, but it was well into double figures, John, and we had 80% of the ball. Just didn't add up. It really doesn't. Right, John, we'll move on. The time wasting and everything else, right? We did score early in the injury time, so the Rangers supporters kind of hit it with, you get 6 minutes added on, and the referees are helping you. So we scored in the 91st plus 30 seconds, something like that. So it was in normal time anyway, John. You always get 2 or 3 minutes added on anyway. But the fact he only added on the 6 minutes, John. Now, Kieran Tierney was down for at least 3 or 4 minutes with his injury, right away. Then you had all the substitutes. Then you had everything else that you normally get, the normal 3 minutes that you get added on at the end, John. So why was it only 6 minutes added on? I just didn't get that either.
Either the referee was pulling them up for their time wasting last night.
Yeah.
Especially the goalkeeper. I mean, watching that goalkeeper, and look, I'm nothing against the goalkeeper. I thought he had an outstanding game. He pulled off some absolutely brilliant saves. If it wasn't for him, Celtic were winning that 8-0 probably. But the ball going out the park, he's walking behind the goal and he's dropping the ball deliberately and all that, and then running out to pick it up and stuff like that. I mean, there's got to be some kind of law comes into the game to stop this. I mean, I know they brought a time thing. If the goalkeeper picks the ball up, he's got to get rid of it within, I think it's 12 seconds or something like that. I'm not even sure of the amount of seconds. Mm-hmm. But watching these goalkeepers time wasting like that, it's so cringy, it's unbelievable. And we're having to sit and suffer that. And then he's going down with cramp and all that as well. A goalkeeper going down with cramp, you're hardly using your legs all night. What are you getting cramp for? Should be getting cramp in your wrists, if anything, if you're a goalkeeper. Know your legs.
That's it. That's quite poor, John. And as you mentioned there as well, all that time wasting, referee giving yellow cards and everything for it. All the time wasting, all the injuries. There was more than just Kieran Tierney down injured in that second half. You've got to bear in mind as well, John. There was Livingston players down as well, wasting time. And then all your substitutes and everything else that happens. You normally get 3 minutes added on at the end of a game, John. He added on the 6. So where was all the extra stoppage time that should have been added on in this one? So there you go. Only the 6 minutes added on. But we get that goal in the 91st minute anyway, John. So absolutely fantastic. And the last wee thing on this game, John, and by the way, the roar when the announcer mentioned Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's name was louder than the roar for the goal. Did you hear that one, John?
I can't really say I noticed, but it was loud for the goal as well.
Yeah.
But, considering the stadium was half empty again, they need to get this sorted out. See, you look around Celtic Park and you see all the empty seats. That's got to be rectified pronto. This board really have got to give themselves a shake and do something here. I know you can't blame the board really for a lot of fans not turning up, but they are partly to blame for this. They're not giving the Celtic fans what they want, so they're not turning up. But it's important right now that the Celtic fans do turn up, Xander. It's really, really important that they turn up. This is a really crucial part of the season. A big game last night. A lot of pressure on Celtic. And you look around the stadium and it's half empty again. Not as bad as the one against Dundee, mind you, with the boycott. But looking around that stadium was like, come on, man, get it together. And many fans were there last night, 45,000, 40,000, something like that.
Yeah, I can sort of understand last night, John, with the conditions. It was really cold and wet. But I understand the other side of the argument as well. The board have really caused all of this, John. They really have. And you heard the fans singing as well, halfway through the game, at one each, sack the board, John. So, John, that's good. That their chants and the feelings of the Celtic fans, that it's not gone away until by the time these meetings are held this week, John. I don't know when they're going to be held. But hopefully there's some sort of solution come the end of the week, John. That's all we can hope for.
Well, I hope so. It's got to be rectified as soon as possible. That was the Green Brigade singing last night, by the way. They managed to find their way into the Jockstein stand in the corner that joins the main stand. They were in there singing. And somebody might ask, how did they get into the game? Well, there's hardly a shortage of tickets these days, is there? And the song they were singing, by the way, was the Edward song, wasn't it? I wanna sack the board. That's what they were singing.
Right, okay. I didn't realise that. But it's a bit of a mess, and that needs cleared up. And I want it cleared up before the weekend, John, to be honest with you, before the Kilmarnock game. I know the Kilmarnock game's away from home, we understand that, yeah, but, you know, we want this whole mess cleared up, John. And by the way, Kilmarnock getting a 4-2 win just in time to play Celtic. You know, you couldn't write this stuff, you know. Anyway, let's move it on then, John. The Livingston game. One more wee thing I wanted to mention in the Livingston game, and it was Marvin Bartley, John. Big, brave, bold Marvin Bartley. The big, strong Bartley arguing with a 74-year-old on the touchline. Absolutely tremendous, Bartley. What a guy you are. So brave, arguing with a man, you know, twice your age. What a clown, John. I don't know if you saw that or no, but I certainly seen it. I think it was round about the penalty decision. I'm not too sure exactly when it was, but he's pointing the finger at and shouting at Martin O'Neill. Yeah, big, bold, brave Marvin Bartley. Well done.
He wouldn't have done it in Martin O'Neill's heyday, trust me. Martin O'Neill's heyday would have said, come on, we'll take this into the changing rooms, pal.
Yeah,
but he was a tough boy.
He probably still did, John. Take into the changing room. Probably still did say about him.
Aye, and Marvin Bartley's an absolute muppet anyway. On that Radio Clyde, do you know what I mean? I famously remember him for saying Aaron Ramsey's the best thing that's ever happened to Scottish football when he signed for Rangers. It's like, are you kidding me on? Aaron Ramsey's the best thing that's ever happened to Scottish football. What do you know about the Scottish game? What do you know about it? If you think that's the best thing that's ever happened to the Scottish game, what do you ever know about it? Lubomir Moravcik is the best player that ever graced Scottish soil, in my opinion. Technically, the most gifted player that ever graced Scottish football. And that's no disrespect to the Lisbon Lions. Lubo was top notch. And then obviously you go to the Lisbon Lions, your Jinky Johnsons and Billy McNeils and all that, all the legends, true legends. Every one of the Lisbon Lions, true legends. Henrik Larsson, guys like that, all these fantastic Celtic players. And he's saying Aaron Ramsey's the best thing to happen to Scottish football. No, is it disrespectful to everybody that ever was a legend for Celtic, but everybody that was a legend for Rangers as well. It's totally disrespectful. The guy has not got a clue what he's talking about.
Yeah, and that's why the last minute winner was even sweeter, John. To see his face on the touchline when that goal went in was absolutely...
By the way, I never even seen that. I never seen him arguing with Martin O'Neill. I missed that.
Yeah, it was running about one of the incidents. Obviously, they're going to argue when there's an incident, clearly, but yeah, I think it was the run about the penalty. I've got it recorded, John. I'll maybe look it out and put it on the channel. Anyway,
I do that because I've not seen that. If you can find it, that would be good, and stick that on. But because I've not seen that, so that'd be good if you could find that, Xander. But Marvin Bartley, if he's wanting to stand arguing with Martin O'Neill, that's up to him. That's up to him. He's just making a fool of himself. He's already a fool anyway with that Aaron Ramsey comment. And he's a pundit on Radio Clyde. That says it all.
Yeah, that's it. He's arguing with a 74-year-old man publicly inside a stadium. Brilliant. Well done.
A total embarrassment. He's an embarrassment to football.
Yeah, Walloper of the week, no doubt. But we'll make that decision on Saturday when we come back on, John. Right, Rival Watch, John. Let's get into Rival Watch. I've been looking forward to this. We've not done this for a wee while because we've got our own problems to seek, but I wanted to have a wee word on Rival Watch this midweek. They're now 5 points behind Hearts. Of course, Hearts are our rivals as well, so we can talk about both these teams. They play Rangers at Ibrox. Hearts on, is it Saturday or Sunday? I can't remember. I think it might be Sunday, actually. Hearts go to Ibrox to play at Rangers, so something's got to give there, John. We did mention in the last podcast that we need to win against Kilmarnock. Now, that is, if we get the 3 points against Kilmarnock, it puts us in an absolutely fantastic position. And of course, we've got that game in hand still to go as well, John, against Aberdeen. But what I wanted to talk about was the red cards again, John. Now, this is what I mentioned at the very start of the podcast, where you got some stuff, Mystic Meg getting some stuff right before they actually happen. You said there would be a red card for Motherwell in this game, and you said that Rangers would win. Now, luckily for us, I didn't realise Welsh had signed for Motherwell again, John. I didn't even know he was back on loan at Motherwell. So that was a total surprise for me last night, seeing that he'd scored the equalising goal. But that's the only thing that beat your prediction, John, was Big Welshie playing for Motherwell. Now, fair play to Motherwell, down to 10 men and getting that equalising goal at Fir Park last night. Absolutely fantastic. But, John, 3 red cards in a row. Kilmarnock, then Falkirk, and then Motherwell. They're just, the cheating, John. I mean, I saw the foul. I actually went back. I put a video on Facebook, John, of the Welsh goal. I can't put videos on YouTube now because of the copyright things. But I'll go to Facebook, Xander, John, you'll see it. Now, this foul for the red card, John, we mentioned it 10 minutes ago, it being a contact sport and it's gone from the game now. Now, if this is a red card, I know the boy is a bit late, but he's only, he's only a couple inches off the ground. He's not high or anything like that. He is late. It's a contact sport. It's a yellow card all day. And the referee, John McLean, remember, sending off the Motherwell player. So fair play to Motherwell, John, for, sticking together and getting a well-deserved point in this one.
By the way, I mean, there was a tackle against Dundee, exactly the same as that, and the Dundee player never even get booked. I think he got a yellow card actually, but there was no sending off. Same tackle. I talked about it, and I talked about it in length on the podcast, the Dundee game one, and I was raging with that. How was he no sent off for that? Well, that's the same tackle last night, exactly the same tackle, but the Motherwell player gets a red card for it. There's definitely cheating going on. There's definitely cheating going on here. And look, I also heard last night Rangers were wasting time at 1-0. They were wasting time. They were the ones with a goalkeeper getting cramped and all that. I'm exaggerating. I don't know because I've never seen the game, but I could imagine it. They were wasting time. Motherwell apparently played them off the park. They had a lot more shots and goal and all that in them. And even with 10 men, Rangers couldn't beat them. So again, they come up against a semi-decent team and Motherwell with 10 men and couldn't turn them over. That tells you we're there. I mean, it's all right beating Queen's Park and then all the papers and all that. Revenge, big headlines. What happened to you at Motherwell? Absolutely folded against Motherwell with 10 men, may I add. And the sweetness of a low-knee Celtic player smashing that ball into the net to sicken their night, and the late winner at Celtic Park to double sicken their night makes it all the sweeter. Under this whole country, or at least 60% of it last night, was absolutely sick, and I love that.
Yeah, of course, John. It was brilliant, and the Welsh goal was, a great wee finish actually inside the. Wish they'd done that far up the park, to be honest with you. Obviously, they're hunting for that equaliser. If they concede a second goal, it doesn't really matter. So they're wanting that equaliser. And the manager, John, coming out, going on about the decisions as well in that game. Fair play to him. It's not just the Celtic boys that are doing that, Celtic management team. The Motherwell management team came out and went on about the cheating as well, John. So fair play to them as well. It's going to, other teams are going to have to start bringing this up. Falkirk were down to 10 men. They never came out and said anything. Kilmarnock were down to 10 men. They never came out and said anything. But the Motherwell manager has came out and spoke up about it. It's a yellow card, yeah, fair play, but never a red card in its life, John. So it backfired on them. Stephen McLean, red card, it backfired on his club, Rangers, John. So, but the goal itself, John, I put the wee video on Facebook of the goal and the celebrations afterwards, and I slowed right down. I don't know if you saw it. It's on Facebook's Under John page, John. I slowed it right down, and the gesture towards the Rangers supporters. I don't want to mention it on here, but I have put it on the video. Did you see that?
No, I don't go into Facebook that often, but I'll have a look at it. I missed that one. I watched the highlights of the game right enough, and I seen his celebration.
Yeah, well, it was very quick, John, so I had to slow it right down and more or less a get it up you gesture. So have a look at that on the Xander John Facebook page. The video was absolutely flying, brilliant.
It'd be better if he done the Victor one at the still game, wouldn't it? When he won the car auction, get it round you, get it round you.
Well, basically that's what he done, John. That's what he did.
It would be good if he did an exact replica of that.
Well, that's what he did. You'll see it, John. I slowed it right down. Brilliant. Well done to Stephen Welsh, Celtic defender, getting the equaliser against the Rangers, John.
He's Celtic daft, Stephen Welsh. He's a proper Celtic man, Stevie Welsh.
Yeah. All right, John. But no, the games last night, where does it leave us as regards to winning this league title, John? Obviously, Hearts won the game against Hibs the night before, and a dreadful performance by Hearts, but they still get the 3 points, John. They're still up there, 6 points ahead of us with a game in hand for Celtic. And of course, Rangers are 1 point ahead of us with Celtic got the game in hand as well. So win a game in hand, we jump above them. So happy days, as they say. But John, where does it leave us? Rangers playing Hearts at Ibrox as well at the weekend. It's definitely in their own hands now.
Well, obviously, one eye's on the game at Ibrox at the weekend. Of course, we've got our eye firmly fixed on that. I don't know what outcome I would prefer. I've not really given it much thought, but it can only leave us in one place, and that's look after ourselves. We can only start to take these chances. If we start taking chances, this has been our problem this season. No taking chances. I brought in Kevin Chara, or Kavansha, however you say his name. I ain't enthralled with him, to be honest with you, so far, what I've seen so far. I'm not overly enthralled. Some Celtic fans might be. Me personally, same as Arnie Engels, I'm not enthralled with him either. Kevin Chara, so far what I've seen, I know he set up a goal at Tynecastle and he scored a winner in the next game. No, the winner, he scored a goal anyway in the next game. Equaliser, I think it was, or the first goal. But are you happy with what you've seen of him so far?
It's hard to tell, John. Look at the teams we've played. It is 10 men, 11 men behind the ball. And for strikers, it's impossible to get space inside the box. It really is, John, but with so many bodies in there. And look at the goals we did score yesterday. One from a defender outside the box and one from a midfielder outside the box, John. So we're not getting many chances inside the box, clear cut, as regards to, space in the box. And any time we do get a chance inside the box with a bit of space, we're fluffing our lines, John. Keepers are pulling off miraculous saves. There was one where Vinchara was through in goal. I know what to do was hit it left or right. The goalkeeper hits it right at him. So he's got to work on his finishing as well.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I know Martin O'Neill says he's not a target man. That's the words from Martin O'Neill. He says he's not a target man. He's pacey. Well, when you're a striker in Scotland, you don't really need a lot of pace because, like you says, the teams are all defending. So you don't really get a chance to use that pace unless you're a winger like Daizen Maeda, I thought he was brilliant last night, Daizen Maeda. If you've got a bit of pace like him, it's no use playing you through the middle. It's got to be out in the flanks. And I think a pacey striker like Kevin Chara, I don't think there's any place for him if all he's got is pace. And because, like he says as well, when he did get a chance clean through and goal, he hits it right at the keeper. This is the problem this season. We haven't got anybody that's got the brains to say, I'll stick it left or I'll stick it right, and it's a goal. No, I'll just hit it right at the keeper. This has been happening all season. We had it with Johnny Kenny as well. So, no, we haven't got a striker that can strike yet. No yet, anyway. I've not seen much of the other boy. What's the other boy we signed again? Boy, come on as a sub.
I had his name earlier on, but I can't remember, John. But he came on and never done much either, actually.
No, Adamu done nothing either. But he did score a lovely wee goal against Dundee. It's early yet for these boys. I'm just talking about what I've seen so far. I'm not overly enthralled by what I've seen. And I'm not. Definitely 100%. I am not overly enthralled by what I've seen for any of them so far. Adamu came on last night, never did anything. Kevin Chara, never did anything. The only man that we've got left is Iniacho. I think it's time for him to start making starts.
Yeah, don't know what the story is with Iniacho, John. I need to look into that because, again, wasn't on the bench against Dundee. So I need to look into that to find out what the story is with Iniacho, because he is a decent big striker. He knows where the net is at least. Anyway, John, we'll wrap it up there. The predictor, John, I've not even went through it, so we'll go through that at the weekend. We'll always do it weekend to weekend anyway. We'll do the predictor on Saturday for Saturday's games. The weekend predictor, and we'll do last week's predictor as well. We'll go through that, all the results from midweek. As I say, nobody got the correct score as well. 2-1 to Celtic, and no wonder, John. Everybody was thinking 3-4-0 in this one. Bottom of the league, Livingston. But John, a win is a win, as they say, John. We take the 3 points. Rangers drop points. Hearts take their 3 points. We just need to move on to the next set of fixtures.
That's it. It's Kilmarnock up next on the plastic pitch. That's going to be tough. It's always tough going to Kilmarnock. And I don't think Chamberlain, I don't think he's ready to start games yet. He'll bed his way into the team one game at a time, substitute appearance at a time, before he starts making regular starts for Celtic. Because when he does start making regular starts, if he's going to be shown as that kind of quality every time he plays, look, that doesn't happen for every player. But if he gives us that kind of quality, It will not be far away. You know what I mean? He won't start against Kilmarnock either, by the way. He's going to come off the bench. Maybe get 20 minutes this time, something like that. Maybe just, bed his way into the team. And the more I see of him, I'll be happier. Another thing is, I hope Arnie Engels is all right. We don't need any more injuries. But of course, we've got, what's his name coming back? Donovan?
Yeah.
No Donovan. Osmond, Callum Osmond. Mark Manil seemed to get a song out of that young boy. Lots of pace, direct, skillful. Still to see him coming back. He's due back. Alistair Johnston's due back start of next month maybe. Jota, I think he'll be out for the rest of the season. Carter Vickers out for the rest of the season. It's not looking good on that front, but the good news is a couple of players knocking on the doors and they're coming back. That'll strengthen the squad. That'll give you strength going into this run into the final dozen fixtures or whatever it is left.
Yeah, that's it, John. I was going to say Donovan as well. What's his name again? Osmond. Osmond, yeah. I can't wait till that boy comes back, actually. He gives us directness as well, John. Direct into the box every time with that boy. And plenty of pace as well. And he's got a finish on him, clearly. So, yeah. Things are looking up, John. Things are looking okay. We just need to start burying the chances, as you say. John, we'll be back on Saturday to do the preview of the Kilmarnock game and everything else that we normally do on the weekend podcast. We'll be back Saturday to do that. Just looking forward to that. Celtic play on the Sunday, of course, so we'll do the full preview of that on the Saturday. Thanks for coming on, John. I appreciate that. I've got a wee joke to finish with again, John. Another joke. Yes, Anders' joke of the week. Doctor, people keep on ignoring me. Next. See you later, mate.
They're old jokes. Where did you get these things for?
It brings me back to my school days.
Thanks, Sandra. I'll speak to you later.
Cheers, John. See you after. Here we go for now.